I am on page number 2, and you guys can, I know one thing that you definitely can do is this ratio table. And then you have equations, which I want you to hold off on because I'm going to show you something new with the equations. So, read the warm-up and fill out the ratio table, and then we'll pick it up from there. Did everybody get this? All right, I am pretty comfortable with ratio tables with you guys. Everybody's getting this pretty routinely. Many of you are getting equations, but still, some of you are getting stuck on it. So let's say R equals, let's do that one first. What times what? Remember that the right side of your equation has to have the variable b in there. Liam.
R equals 6 divided by, oh, sorry, b divided by 3 times 6.
Be careful.
Oh, 3.
Okay. Whenever you guys come up with an equation, you've heard me say this before, I'll say it again. Especially if you're not sure, test it and see if it works. Once you have your equation, pick a value for b. I'll pick 2. Substitute it in. 2 times 3 is 6. It works. The equation is good. Always do that, because you'll see right away. Like you see how Liam, first he wanted to go in the direction of division. Let's say he had done that. Let's say he came up with b divided by 3. When you plug it in, 2 divided by 3 is not 6. You'd have to go back and fix it. So always do that to be sure. All right, here comes our first little leap. Would you agree that b times 3 is the same as 3 times b? Multiplication is commutative, right? You could change the order. Yes? Here's the leap. You're going to see this more and more. And Sal, you tell me if you've seen this yet.
I've seen it.
3 and b with no dot. Have you seen it? You're going to start seeing it more and more as we get deeper and deeper into algebra. Remember I told you that, well, we first made a mini leap about four weeks ago, and instead of doing the little multiplication symbol, we changed it to a dot, right? Here comes the next leap, is that we don't use the dot either when we want to multiply a number times a variable. Why don't you think we use the dot anymore? What can it get confused with? Franco, a decimal. So now the x for multiplication is eliminated because it looks like the variable x, and we actually don't use the dot anymore because it looks like a decimal. So whenever you see a number next to a letter, it means to multiply. This is the same thing as 3 times b. We just don't use the dot anymore. Okay? Which I want you to start using and getting used to seeing more and more. There is one rule with this. If you're going to put a letter and a number together, the letter always goes after the number. It's just the way it gets done. You won't see it written like this. It just doesn't get done that way. It's just part of the language of mathematics. You put the number first, which we also call a coefficient, always goes first before the letter. So this equation now becomes R equals 3b. And there's one more other little rule. When you do substitute the number in for b, like if I take a b and I put it in, I do have to add the dot back in again to show multiplication. Why do I need to put the dot back in again? Aiden.
Otherwise, then it will look like 34.
Correct. You can't put two numbers together without an operator because it looks like 34. Okay? What about the equation for b? Charles. Say it again. R. No. Let's do it as division first. R divided by something divided by what? Well, divided by 3. There's no way to show division of a variable and a number without putting the division symbol in. You will down the road start to see it like this, r divided by 3, but for right now, forget about that. Leave the division symbol in. However, you could do this. R times what fraction would it be? Because that we've done.
1/6?
No.
Oh,
Get that 6 out of your head.
1/3.
1/3. And watch. You can do 1/3 R with no dot. As long as I put the 1/3 first. Are you okay with this? Because this is our first little leap. Do a quick little mini quiz. Raise your hand. It's a participatory quiz. What does that mean? Go. 6 times n.
Wait, I can't listen. 53 times y?
53 times y. Aiden.
6 times x.
6 times x. Remember that x doesn't mean multiply anymore. It's the variable x. I had somebody last period go 6 times. I go 6 times what? 6 times nothing. No, it's 6 times x because there's a little dot that we don't write in between the 6 and the x. Are we good? Okay, ready for the next leap? Go to the next page. Just threw everybody for a loop too. That was a small leap. Now comes a little bigger of a leap. I want you to read through the first example and ready? Tell me what you think. And don't write it in yet, but tell me what you think this first ratio should be. I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or you're wrong yet. I just want to hear what you think. First crack, Antonio. What do you say?
I think it's 3/9 to 1.
Okay, I'm just going to write it down. Don't do anything yet, guys. 3/9 to 1. That's one choice. Anything different?
Number of books is 9, and number of these 3.
What else?
1 to 3 to 1.
1, 2, 3 to 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I tell you what I've heard in my other classes?
Wait.
Because we had answers all over the place. And I'm going to tell you who's right and who's wrong in a minute.
1 to 3 over 9.
1, 2, 3 over 9. Okay, any others? Don't guess. Either you know it or you don't. Let me show you what I saw earlier today. I had 3 to 9. I had one, this is a crazy one, 1/3, 3/9. Okay, this is the thing that's kind of cool about Common Core, because if I asked this of my kids 3 years ago, none of those kids would have come up with the interesting answers that you guys have come up with, because A lot of you are right. Watch, let me show you. Let me take one that I know that you can figure out the multiplicative structure right away. I'm going to take 3/9. 3 times what makes 9? Just say it. Times 3, right? I will tell you that 1/3 times 3 is 3/9. That makes this and this equivalent. Ready? 3/9 times 3
Is 1.
becomes 1. That works. 1/3 times 3. Think about a pizza. 1/3, and you have 3 of those pieces, it makes 1 whole pizza. That's equivalent. 1/3, or 1 times 3, doesn't make 3/9. So we got to say no to that. And we got to say no to this. For the most part, you guys got a lot of these equivalent ratios and you don't even know that you're doing it. Okay? Let me read it out loud to you, see if this makes sense. 3/9 of a book in one day. Let's say I make PRF, and I'm going to do books over days. 3 books, 9 days. 3 over 9. And let's say I want to figure out how many books that is in one day. What do you have to divide by? Aiden?
9.
Divide by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Guess what? 3 divided by 9 is 3/9, which is 3/9 of a book in one day.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, kind of.
Okay? So, let's make things easy on ourselves. Rather than making this 3/9 over 1, we've proven that it's equal to 3 over 9. So let's just build our table that way. Let's deal with whole numbers. Let's not deal with fractions in our ratio table. No matter what, our multiplicative structure is what? What are we multiplying by? No matter what ratio we use.
3.
Times 3. Which comes into play when we create our equation. D equals, and let's see if you can write the equation algebraically. Forget the dot at this point. D equals what? Chris. Let's see if it works. 3 times 9. Guess what, my friend? It's not 9. Try again. All right, ready? I'm going to talk you through it. What times B makes 9? Let's see if it works. D equals 3B. I'm going to pick my value for B. Substitute it in. 3 times 3 is what, Chris? Equation is good. And I'll rewrite it so you can see it. That's our winner. B equals, turn it into division at this point, because you know, no matter what, once you get this, I'm hoping this will fall into place naturally, because the 3 always stays the same, and then you just flip-flop the multiplication to division. Try. I know I need a 3.
Yeah.
I know I need the other variable, which is a D. I just need the operator because I ain't going to do it all for you. Let's see if it works. Okay? Give me a value for D. 9 times 3 is?
I mean, 27.
I'm supposed to get 3. Take another crack at it.
D times.
Little hint, if the numbers are getting smaller from what you put into what's coming out, think division.
D divided by 9.
Let's see if it works. Want to pick the same values or you want to pick another value for D? 9 divided by 9 is not 3.
Oh.
But we're getting closer. What divided by 9 is 3?
Divided by 3.
Let's see if it works. 9 divided by 3. Equation's good. Always test it. Always test it. And, I know. And by the way, that's the same as D times 1/3 or 1/3 D. Tomorrow we're going to take even a bigger leap. Exit ticket 18 is your homework, don't forget.